Pay me an equity, pay me an equity, pay me an equity. You could sponsor me. Pay me an equity, pay me an equity, pay me an equity. You could pay that fee. 2019 government shut down. Gotta grind these bands up now. Who may need that rent? Hockey need tuition. I'ma make sure that never milk go missing. 2019 government shut down. Gotta grind these bands up now. Who may need that rent? Hockey need tuition. I'ma make sure that never milk go missing. BBB, black business bond, let's do some business. Take a oath to stand the test of time amongst a witness. Oh, I see, unite with me and see what I see. A time and place where we regain society. We live in peace, no longer amongst poverty. Freedom, peace, love, truth, and equality.
Don't wanna get blackballed, assassinated, I won't say much. Just call that card and call what you say for.
Election time, I'm shaking hands and politicking. Pulling strings I won't explain, it's not your business. Flawless flaw, I do my thing, respecting my name. I'm very professional, but my tribe don't play. Pay me an equity, pay me an equity, pay me an equity. You could sponsor me. Pay me an equity, pay me an equity, pay me an equity. You could pay that fee. On the road to riches, private location switching. Stacking this paper, I'm getting these dough. Loving the beat when I'm switching the flow. My word of God, and I'm blessing your all. Dropping seeds of knowledge, worth millions if you apply it. Moving silence with the MMT, put a pie on longevity. 2019 move steadily, progress with the family. Did a challenge, solidarity, and now I'm multi-ride. Reshift the paradigm, currency multiply. Divide with the charm. Pay me an equity, pay me an equity, pay me an equity. You could sponsor me. Pay me an equity, pay me an equity. Pay me an equity, you could pay that fee.
Look, my bitches all black, my niggas all real. I ride in dick in some big tall hills, big fat checks, big large bills, burn out flip like 10 car wheels.
Yeah, though. Welcome to NR International. CC, turn me up in those headphones, turn me up in the mic. This is Mr. Make It Rain, Nor Rainy, and
Flawless Flaw, peace, love.
the first thing that we had that Money Talk by yours truly.
Shit. Just,
and
you're welcome.
And we followed up with that Money by Cardi B. Mm-hmm. That joint was hot. Talk to him about it, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, you just came out of that from out the blue, just like, all right, I'm gonna just start this talking this Money Talk or what? How did that go down?
So, shout out Leak Beats, you know what I'm saying? Definitely
Shout out Leak Beat.
Slide me the song. So, he blessed me, so I blessed y'all. It was only right.
True that.
Fuck Trump. Let me start off by saying, first and foremost,
get it out the way.
2019 government shutdown, like, shit is real, and we definitely been making sure that the platform that we have, we bring attention and awareness to things that are affecting us in our community.
Absolutely.
And so, in my music, I always give you guys what you want, but I always try to elevate and maybe use a little bit of lingo that you may not know. I'm definitely very professional, as you can tell and as you can see. I'm the CEO of Oslo Entertainment, so I believe that it is balance between being who you are personally and then the professional. And I understand that Philly suffers a lot because we have a bad image. And
right. We do.
As far as our professionalism goes.
Home of the ratchetness.
You said it, not me.
Yeah.
But
no, we gonna keep it real. We gonna keep it real on this. Like, at the end of the day, most people know that if you look at most ratchetness on the internet, you look at most situations that come from out of Philly. Normally, I mean, if it's on the internet, it normally comes out of Philly, and then it spreads from there. It's like a plague. Damn it.
I mean, I ain't proud of it, but however, it's not about where you come from. It isn't. It's about where you're going. So, keep that in mind.
Always, also.
Can we get to some DK?
Well, first, let's we gotta introduce. We got a host to the house.
Yes.
We got a guest to the house, and we have to always deal with our guests in the most hospitable ways. I would like to welcome Miss Shakita Ellison. Gift to the pen, y'all.
Hey.
How
you feeling today?
One of my favorite
I feel
poets.
wonderful. I feel wonderful. I'm glad I'm alive.
Absolutely.
I'm glad I have my right mind. So
Look very
it's a good
blessed.
thing.
Yes.
Thank you.
Hey, we gotta be thankful for every day that goes by, for the fact that our heart beating, for the fact that, you know, we have body parts that work correctly, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
It's like the saying goes, we gotta always think about what people are less fortunate not to have and recognize what we do have, and that's what makes us more grateful every day that goes by.
Yes,
right?
you look to those less fortunate than
Mm-hmm.
yourself, and you could find, you know, gratitude there.
Absolutely. So, let's go to that DK news. Did you know?
DK. So, talking about money and Cardi.
Money.
Yeah, a 10-year-old Kayla, aka Kiki, made a remix.
Tsunami.
Well, she let them Girl Scout cookies, okay? She made a remix to Cardi Money, and within, not even a week, she posted this video, and it went viral after Cardi reposted it. And she posted it February 2nd. So,
Hey, salute.
shout out to young
Yes.
black entrepreneurs.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's
And
never too early.
we also gotta say salute to Cardi, because that's utilizing your fan base and your
Yep.
platform to help other people. You know what I'm saying?
Definitely.
Some of
big
y'all
ups.
selfish.
A
A lot of y'all selfish. But you know, we ain't worried
So
about
what
them.
exactly
We
did
worried
she
about-
do? She just remade the song.
Yeah.
Okay. Put
Like-
her own little twist to it.
Yeah, but she was
Okay.
selling Girl Scout cookies. So based off of that, it's like, you know, she was hustling, made a little rap to it, right?
She shouted out Black Girl Magic.
Uh-huh.
And
Good.
definitely went viral. She sold a lot of Girl Scout cookies. So,
Yeah.
big ups, Kayla.
Hey, I think she needs some she needs to get some type of some stock into Girl Scout cookies now.
Yeah, she
'cause-
needs some stock. She
you
needs some
understand
equity.
what
You
I'm
know what I'm saying? Let her get some equity.
Cause you ain't gonna just have my little sisters out here like they some workers. You know what I'm saying?
No.
No, she needs stock in the company now.
For sure, for sure.
So now, what we going? I think that today's topic should be, since we're talking about young money, I think we need to talk about, like, why is it that our communities are in the situations that they're in? Like, why is it that I mean, for the most part, most of our communities are either striving to get by or barely there, but you know, it's like our youth, a lot of people aren't thinking of being owners. A lot of people aren't thinking about being entrepreneurs. And if they are, then they're thinking about it in the wrong ways. So I think we should dedicate today's topic on raising our youth right. Rearing them, cultivating them right, making sure that they grow up to be everything that they're supposed to be and not what they've been trained to be.
Drop the mic on that and repeat that one more time.
Shout out to Miss Lady C. On the
See on the track, you know what I'm saying?
But I think that we really need to dedicate today's topic on the fact that there's a lot of social engineering going on. And that social engineering is going on by way of what we hear, what we see every day.
And it starts off at a very, very pre-K age, young age, when we are getting our beloved children indoctrinated to the system.
Yeah, I mean, I think a lot of times most people don't even recognize when they themselves are indoctrinated. And so therefore they don't know what they're passing down. You know? It's kind of like, what was that name of that movie with Denzel Washington back in the day? It was the Fisher story, where he was getting abused because his mother was getting abused, and our people been getting abused for a very long time, and that's when it comes down to mentally, emotionally, spiritually, and physically.
Hurt people hurt people.
Hurt people. Exactly. And it's like, it doesn't, and I said this before, it doesn't matter if you have someone who loves you. If they don't know, they don't know. Like, I used to always talk to different people who would just come home from, say, for instance, for prisons, and they have a disdain for people who would, like, for instance, give them work when they come home, opposed from giving them money, put them in positions of street life, opposed from putting them in positions of building by themselves. And I had to pull them to the side and say, well, you understand, though, that might be the only way that they understood how to help out, even though, like, we may look at it from a point of view of if you're just coming home, you just did 10 years or 15 years or whatever, and somebody's just pretty much letting you toss rocks at the penitentiary, letting you say, all right, well, you know, do what you gotta do, you know what I'm saying? That might lead you right back. But in a certain type of way, they don't know. You know? So it's like, we gotta get ourselves out of this social engineering where we don't recognize, we're not aware. Because what happens is that's what puts our people into the same mix, the same rotation, especially of recidivism. Right? So, you know, just my thought when it comes down to it. So when we look at it from the scope of adults, we can just imagine what's going on with kids. You know? So what you think on it?
Children emulate what they see.
Mm-hmm.
You know, in psychology, it's a term called learned conditioning. You know, so, you know, our children, they're being exposed to so much. I mean, what they're seeing in their homes, from alcoholism to, you know, parent neglect, to one parent families, or, you know, an absentee parent, and then you have children who have mixed families. So therefore, you know, you have one set of children who may be going out the home every weekend or every other weekend, and then they're being exposed to certain things that you don't have any knowledge of. So when we look at things like, you know, children molesting children, you know, this isn't anything that they just thought of on their own. Children are innocent, you know, so they had to have been exposed to it and had to have seen it in some type of way, form, and fashion. And unfortunately, most times than not, you know, they've been a victim of it. So, you know, it's just about awareness, you know, and just having to educate our children. And also being careful about what we expose them to. The television shows, I mean, you know, us being in a socially driven era, most of these children have phones. I mean, they have iPhones as young as like maybe 5 and 6 years old.
Right, and know how to use it. Right,
and like, even the babies, they know how to swipe up and go this way, and you be
2
looking
years
like,
old.
wow.
And it's like it takes certain adults to years to get used to it.
Which means that they're exposed to your photos, you know, and it may be something in there that they shouldn't be exposed to. Also, too, you know, what they're watching on TV and the music. The music, to me, in this era is to dumb us down. Because you can't hear, you can't really understand what anyone's saying.
There's no substance.
You hear the beat, and you get the chorus, and it's catchy, and it stays with you all day long. But really, what's the content? Where's the wisdom? Where's the motivation? There isn't any, you know. And so I think that in the industry, being a multi-billionaire industry, I think that they know exactly what they're doing when they take Little Pump or
all them little,
every little
6 9 9 6,
yeah, every little and every dog, all of
black, whoever, and it's like, you know, they have no talent, but they throw the chains on them. They give them the cars, they give them the homes. They say, "Oh, we can move you out the hood," and you know.
Just for misleading.
But see, that's
youth, though.
That's the first part of training. That's the first part of social engineering, where it's like you getting the kids dumbed down to the point where everything shiny is gold. So what happens is that now they're looking at the materialism. They're looking at everything which is just allure. All of the allure of what's being seen.
Instant gratification.
Of
millennials are
the jewelry, the girls, the cash. And this is the reason why, like I say this all the time when it comes down to social media, I'm like, if you got all these guys with cash phones, it's like the only ones that actually care about stacks like that is either one, you going to the strip club, two, you must have just got that off of the block, because anybody else is getting money, it's swiped. Everything is swiped. So this is a digital era. Like, this isn't the 90s anymore.
Where
So,
cash rules everything around me. Got
Cream.
the money.
Dollar
Bill,
bills,
y'all. Then we all just tell our age.
no, but I mean, the thing about that, that's a classic though. So, you know, even millennials know that, even if they don't know who said it.
Right.
You know? So it's like, just look at that point that I just said by itself, where you got people who they dumbed you down, they're showing you all of the materialism, and then like just the basic part of having racks on racks put to your ear, just showing money. Meanwhile, we're not even in that era anymore where people are just showing money because you can just swipe it. Like, instead of showing cash, let's see how many homes you own. Let's see how much how many properties you have. Let's see appreciative value, just items. Let's see if you own a Basquiat. Let's see if you own something which is going to appreciate in value opposed from depreciate. Guns and butter. Y'all heard Baby Boy, right? It's about guns and butter. So if you didn't learn that part off of the movie, I don't know what we learned.
Right.
That was one of my favorite parts.
I bet.
So, but it's like we have a lot of different things that our children are being subjected to, and it's like, if we don't catch it, and we grown adults, right? Even if you reach the age of 16 years old, I still consider you as a grown adult, because personally, I realize that most of us are having families starting at 16. Most of us are leaving out the house around 16, whether it's legal or not. So,
I think one of the biggest questions is that, how do we get our children back? How do we go in and literally grab them by the collar and say, okay, I know what you're seeing, I know what you're hearing, but this is falsehood. You know what I mean? This is, we need to sit down and come up with a stratagem on how you can become a successful adult in society, and not think that instant gratification or the crab in the barrel mentality is how you should live your life. So I think that's what we need to sit down at a round table and try to figure out. How do we get our children back? Because they're stationary there. Everybody's on their phones. You know what I mean? Everybody's on Instagram, trying to sell themselves, and
attention,
right,
feel, love,
exactly. So how do we, and then if you're in a home where you're not being nurtured, then you're looking outward to social media, to your friends, for guidance, because no one's guiding you. So how do we recognize those children, and what do we do to get our children back so that we can have another generation? Because at this rate where our children are being slain, like every other week there's another child being slain. Down Park Avenue, 14 years old. A couple weeks ago, 18 years old. You know what I mean? So what do we want to do? Because the time is now.
I would say the very first thing is that we can't forget our own childhoods. That's the first thing. How you reach into to the minds of the youth. Some people say, oh well, they're not the same. They didn't come up at the same time that we came up. But the reality is, even if certain things are different, a child's mind is still a child's mind. So if a person loses how they were when they were a child, then they can't reach the children. But if you remember the things that caused you to look at certain things, or to gravitate towards certain things, you have to also know, if it was negative, how to combat that.
Right. So
I see it as though the very first way that we lose our children is the fact that we aren't strong enough. Majority of people aren't strong enough. They don't show, as men, they don't show manhood within the houses, or they're pretty much stuck in a rut. So it's like, let's just say, for those who end up looking at most of these rappers, what's the thing that causes for most of these kids to look at the rappers? The fact that they got money, cars, clothes, girls, etc. So, all right. So, what that's saying is that if you're looking at them, how are you looking at your own father? And unfortunately, a lot of times, the father is probably locked up for trying to chase that same dream.
That's the first way to break down the infrastructure of the family is to remove the black man.
Absolutely.
And so we have all of these men incarcerated, and women are left to raise the children by themselves. And although most black women are very strong, they don't have that innate ability to raise a man. Absolutely. And there's been great men, who were raised by single women, don't get me wrong. You know what I mean? So it can be done. However, it more times than none, there is that single mom who's working 2 or 3 jobs just to keep the food on the table, just to, be able to provide school clothes and so on and so forth. So the children are left alone a lot of times. And that just piggybacks over what we were saying earlier. So they're left idle, and I mean, look how many libraries have been shut down. I mean, when you said thinking about our childhood, we hung out at the library. Yeah, remember, if you went to the library and you made too much noise, you got kicked out because you was not going to be in the library goofing off. So I think a lot of the education, I think that now education is being, the education of our children has been left to the school system. And we already know that the school system isn't the best education. Why? Because they want to tell us that we were monkeys through evolution. And that's not correct. You know what I mean?
And that's another part though about us not being educated enough. I mean, again, they got to go back to we can only give what we got. Exactly. So if we don't have it, then it causes for our own children to look more towards those who do.
Well, I think it's just a matter of being honest. Because if my mom didn't show me the ropes, or if I'm a young adult and I'm having my first child at 14 or 15 years old, and then now 10 years later I'm dealing with this 10-year-old, what do I do? First of all, you have to be honest, and the first part of any solution is recognizing that there's a problem. Agree?
And if you are wrong, I know that parents have a hard time admitting when they have shortcomings, when they failed, when they've done the best that they could. So in their head, oh, this is I did my best, so it's fine, it's right. It's not all right, because whether I hurt you on purpose or on accident, you're still hurt. That's true.
Right? So I mean, parenting classes, just being aware, more social workers go into the home, or more social workers inside the school system to actually assess what's going on in the homes. I don't know if we need to come up like with a little survey question sheet or something, but being more involved in trying to figure out what are these children being exposed to and how do we help them.
You had asked the question, how do we reach them? And understanding that they're hurt. When kids act out, they're hurt. If you don't understand them, it's because somewhere down the line there's a disconnect. Now, whether that be they are in denial and trying to numb the pain or forget, we have to reach them. We have to connect with them. We, like you said, we were children once too. We should understand.
So we have to understand.
Exactly. And not by always trying to be superior, but coming to an eye level with them and saying, listen, I understand. You're not alone. Okay, well, in addition to molding them and understanding and healing, because I believe that a lot of healing has to happen. So much damage has happened. It's time for us to unite and heal one another.
But when it's at the level of the parents, what do you do at the level of the parents?
At the level of the parents, you gotta love them. And even that love gotta go even to the point of not being their friend, but making sure that that position of parent is solidified. And then you can go back to, the basic relationship of one-on-one father, daughter, father, son, or son, mother, daughter, mother relationships, where you do have that companionship, but at the same time, you have to make sure that that's solidified first. it got to start out of love, because there's some people who say, well, I will not do anything to my child, as far as like, I'm not going to beat them, or I'm not going to do, but I mean, sometimes you do have to do some type of punishment at times to get them right, but if you're going to do that, they still have to understand that you're doing this because you love them. And if you don't understand that love, then I mean, it's like you're going to just leave them to the wolves. You're going to let them drop to the system. You're going to let them fall. As some folks say, if you're going to beat your child, do so before these police get a chance to.
And like you said, love is all we need. I was referencing at the dysfunction being at the level of the parents. So if the parents are the perpetrators, you know what I mean, what do we do then? Because the parents are not going to say, oh, there's a problem, when you're the one being dysfunctional. You're, high, you got men running in and out, and so on and so forth. So what do we do at that level? That's why I mentioned having more social workers assessing in the schools what's going on and paying attention to the signs and symptoms of, our children being abused.
Well, the abuse level is something completely different. First, we gotta look at each particular child as an individual, and then once we recognize that individual in regards to all the things that they need as individuals, then we can rise from there. But before we continue on the conversation, let's play that "Love" by Tory Lanez.